Back in the 1960s, he and my grandmother, Sharifi, left Lebanon with their kids to escape war. His older brother had left before he did, settling in Brazil, where he started a family, and my grandfather was very close to moving there to join him. But the brothers also had some relatives who moved to Canada, so the OG decided to head north. It's funny how the stars align. A decision made decades ago can change the whole course of your life. My grandfather's move to Canada allowed me to become who I am. Without that move, it's unlikely that I'd ever have found my way to the ice. My grandparents didn't know English when they settled in a small town just outside of London, the largest city in southwestern Ontario, which sits almost exactly midway between Toronto and Detroit. My grandfather was a hardworking, blue-collar guy. It's hard to find steady employment in a new country while you're struggling to understand its language, but Nazem Kadri was a grinder. He came from a traditional background, the kind of generation where life's main pursuit was to go to work and make money for your family. So not only did he hold several factory jobs, but he also took on extra work to support his wife and their 7 children. After a long day in the automotive factory, at night he cleaned the Fleetway bowling alley, one of those large 10-pin places that would host league competitions and children's birthday parties. My grandfather would often bring my father and his brother along. My dad, Samir, known as Sam, would tell me stories about the fun they all had, with the entire alley to themselves. But it was also work. They were expected to pitch in wherever they could. Dad would help clean the place all night, doing the graveyard shift with his brother, and then go to school in the morning. That's how the Kadri family would always operate, as they built a life in Canada. We still work hard, and we stick together. Today, there are probably 50 or 60 of us, and most of my relatives live in the London area to this day. I always appreciated hearing stories like that while I was growing up. My grandparents set an example for us all. It's where a lot of my work ethic comes from. When my father first arrived in Canada, he tried to find his way as a child in a new world. Having quickly discovered how much his classmates loved hockey, he learned the game on his street, alongside other kids his age. But he was never able to play the game as an organized sport. As a new Canadian, he was never given the opportunity. Extracurriculars weren't very high up on the list of priorities for those getting their start in a new country, and Samir needed to help support the family. Yet my father was a very good athlete, and he's a competitor still. Probably one of the most competitive people I know, which is saying something. He played football and basketball at Montcalm Secondary School, and was just naturally gifted at whatever sport he took on. Samir was always active, even if he wasn't playing organized sports beyond high school. Hockey was the sport he loved the most, though. My parents met when they were young, as members of London's small Muslim community, and they married young too. Both of their families attended the London Muslim Mosque. My mother's parents were also from Lebanon, although she was born in Canada. Not having migrated meant it was a bit of a different story for her. She was a London girl who lived in the city her whole life. Still, she was a first-generation immigrant, and her family had to work hard to get by. Like their parents, Sam and Sue Kadri were grinders, and both were determined to give me and my sisters all the opportunities they didn't have when they were younger. My father found work in the automotive industry, just as his father had. My mother was a cashier at Loblaws. We didn't have much, but I never felt like I lacked anything. My 2 older sisters and I knew we were lucky to have the kind of parents that we did. We bounced around a lot when I was young. We lived in several different houses, meaning I went to a few different elementary schools. Moving was a part of life back then. We weren't in a great position financially, which likely contributed to all the relocations. At one point, we stayed in a house with other relatives in our extended family. It was an epic time for me as a kid. Living there with several of my cousins, all of us around the same age, I was having such a blast that I didn't really realize we were struggling. Those are some of my